Sia, I've got a question for you from a super chat here. I want to go on some of these super chats. It says that Liverpool are right now the best team in Europe, planet Earth, and the universe. Do you agree with that, Sia? Are you the best team in the world right now?
It would be hard to disagree. I mean, we have factual evidence in front of us that we are the best team in Europe right now. On and according to some of our performances, we are. And like I said, and I think it was one of the previous match reactions. Arne Slot was one of the managers I wanted to replace Klopp because I know he's a relentless winner. The guy pursues perfection, and there's this really dumb narrative from Arsenal fans, and from them you would expect that because they don't win shit, so they'll try and drag anyone else down to the mud with them. That we are peaking too early, or we haven't played anyone, or shit like that. But the one thing, or the one perspective that they're missing on purpose, is that this guy is new. This is a new team for him. This is a new level for him. It's a new league. He's still learning. He's still learning how to match up the players to how he wants to play, how best to play certain teams in the league. And he still hasn't gotten some of the pieces he may have wanted to be signed, like the Zubimendi type DM. A new fucking left back, definitely, because Robertson, I'm sorry, the guy's a liability. So yeah, I do think we're the best team in Europe, and I don't think I would be going too far to say that we're gonna get better, especially if we do something in January, which as a Liverpool fan, I don't want to get my hopes up because our club is owned by cheapskates who's just gonna see us doing well and be like, yeah, everything's good, guys. So, I mean, things are looking up from here, man. Yeah, we are the best team in Europe. Fuck that, no doubt about it.
Well, the top of the European league, so you must kind of be. And obviously, we've been joined by Rack and we've been joined by Mike. But welcome both to the show. Rack, another very good performance for your team tonight as you prepare for this big game at the weekend against City.
Yeah, look, we've dropped points in 2 games this season, right? So I think any mention of best teams in Europe, the results kind of speak for themselves. It's not the full story, but I think it will take a brave person for anyone to disagree with that. And going into the City game, obviously in a way, yesterday's result was almost worse than a defeat because they were on the edge of victory and they've been hauled back. We go into it with sky high confidence, and I don't think City, from a confidence perspective, can be any lower. So obviously, this is a time to not show mercy and kind of, as Hussein would say, stand on their neck or something like that.
Sweep the leg, Johnny. Sweep the leg, Johnny.
Yeah. I
Sweep the leg, Johnny.
The Karate Kid reference, exactly. If you know, you know. But yeah, it's we go into that game strong, and I think most people would say if we beat them, they're out of the title race. As great as City have been over the last few years, this looks like it's a down season, or even not even a down season. But they may come back to the rest of the season, have a good season, but when you're 11 points behind and we're playing so well, it's difficult to see them bridging that gap. So yeah, look, we've got it all to play for. I just want to make a quick point about the other trophies. I remember the year we were going for the quadruple. We all got swept up, and obviously we came away with the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup. And but at the end of the season, we kind of struggled, and the Champions League final, although we played well, it wasn't the same team. People will call it defeatist, but I want us to focus on the league, and I want us to focus on the Champions League. I'm not concerned really about the Carabao Cup, and I'd say play the kids FA Cup too, to be honest.
I agree.
Bro, you sound like an Arsenal fan. We're winning everything. We're winning the lot. Slot is winning the lot.
Listen, I don't. Arsenal fan. Have Arsenal ever won the Champions League? So respectfully.
I mean, you're talking about bigger picture
We are not the same.
They've been good enough too. They might not have won it, but they have been good enough too in the past, and that's all that matters to them. They might not have won it before, but they could have done in seasons gone by, and that's all
they
that
put the
matters.
pressure
Really.
on.
I would trade last season's Carabao Cup for a 20% better chance of winning the league this season.
Not
like
last season.
I get it. We've seen our club win Carabao Cups before. Maybe FA Cup has a bit more prestige to it. I understand, but like the thing is, we just don't have the squad to compete on all fronts, and it's shown by our rotation away at Brighton. I know we played Tyler Morton and Endo, but we had the likes of Salah step in at some point in time. You know, even now maybe Bradley who plays in this game, Gomez. Like I want to use it more as a rotation option or for players who to get fitter, shit like this. I don't want us to go like, you know, in the next game. Who do we even play in the next game? Is it Brentford or something?
Southampton in the Carabao.
Southampton. We play Southampton. I don't want us to go play like Salah, Gakpo, Diaz, and try to like just fucking go. I don't want that shit, to be honest with you.
No, but you've got to consider this year is different. It seems different this year because of the coaches that we've got and their ideas regarding recovery and rotation seems vastly different to what the previous regimes was, and it's shown by the fact that they will play the likes of Salah and the likes of, you know, Diaz in these games off the bench. So maybe they've got a different way of looking at it, where they think, well,
I have no problem with that, Tom, as long as you don't tell me.
I think you're all missing it. I know you're all Liverpool fans and you know your team well, but you also got to understand you play the game in game now. There are large parts of the matches where you play at a much slower pace.
Mm-hmm. We do,
by design, and that I've always felt in football that over a course of a 50-60 game season can pay dividends. Where with Liverpool, sorry, go on.
And if you look at Man City, some of their seasons where they were competing on all fronts, they would still play their best players in the Carabao Cup, in the FA Cup, because the way they play football does not require their players to exert as much effort as maybe we did under Jurgen Klopp. And if you look at the hires that Slot brought with him from, what is this club, Feyenoord, there's this guy who's was the head of, what was it, conditioning and stuff like that. So I get your guys' points, but you have to consider that this is a different approach with a different
it is, but the thing that's not different is these are all human beings. And these are all human beings that are playing at the very, very peak of their fitness. And when you get at the peak of fitness like that, the margins between breaking and not breaking are very small. I'm just saying I want to reduce that risk by not necessarily playing. Obviously, you got to follow the advice of the medical professionals.
But you are,
these guys.
Rack, you are. But where you pull on a really important thing is, I heard a Man City fan on the overlap the other day say, like, you know, basically what's Fergie done that's influenced like British football, like Pep, rotation. He was the manager that brought in the way everybody mass rotates now was started by Fergie in the 90s, because he realized he wanted to do doubles and then he wanted to do a treble. And I always remember the start of I think it was the 97-98 season. There was an intro to the Premier League where each manager, it's like they do it now, you'll get like an advert that'll go on Sky and it's like a preview to the season, and it was all the managers and a few players from all the Premier League teams kind of stating what they wanted to do, like a few of the newly promoted teams like stay in the Prem, and Fergie's was to do the treble. He said something like to do the treble, and I always remember the media talking about it. I always remember friends at school saying, "Oh, that's stupid, you're never going to be able to do that because you can't win that many tournaments because you can't rotate your team enough." The word rotate wasn't probably used, but it was that you can't play your players in all those games. And what Fergie did is he rotated heavily. You go back to that semi-final against Arsenal in the FA Cup, the second leg. That was nowhere near our strongest team that started the game. I mean, Keane started and things like that, but we had to rotate. And that's why I've always said it, and it's not a dig, that when you win those, that's why I think winning multiple trophies in a season is a better achievement than winning the league with 100 points or going invincible, because it's harder, in my opinion, to win multiple trophies because you have to play your weaker teams sometimes. And sometimes you play weaker sides against very good teams to get through that. It's just a little different in my view.
Yeah, but can I just say one statement? Sorry, or just one quick statement. Us winning the league, a lot of Liverpool fans will probably agree with me. Us winning the league is highly dependent on health. health
No,
is
so
so
I
much
understand.
more key for us.
That's it for
That's why.
everybody.
That's
though.
why for me, I want.
But Sam, I agree with you. That's why I'm saying I think that I'm not saying play your youth academy in the FA Cup, but I'm stating that if, for instance, you've got an FA Cup game, third round, and there's, I don't know, you've got 2 or 3 main starters in the game, a few on the bench, and the rest of them are kids and fringe players. Don't moan. That's what you've got to do to try and win everything. You can't just play your strongest 11 every single game.